Send that chicken fat back to the chicken and don't be chicken again. Yeah. Oh, greetings, my friends. Welcome back to Stark Raving. I am your host, Lord Stark. Just getting in shape for the wedding. Remember, if you can't do 2 sets of curls a year, you don't deserve a hot date. Well, back when I was part of the Night's Watch, we had lots of ways of staying in shape. For instance, I used to do a lot of rock climbing. Rock climbing? Huh. That reminds me of something Maester Forrester and his assistant, Ravens Frank, used to tell me. Oh well. I call today's episode of Events The Climb.
Sam tries to start a fire, but it's Gilly who knows how to get it going. He shows off the dragon glass blades that he found at the Fist of the First Men. He tells her about life at Castle Black, and she asks if he can sing.
A father's face is stern and strong. He sits and judges right from wrong.
Oh, that reminds me of a song my sainted mother used to sing to me. In a lot of ways, Sam reminds me of my mother. Except he has a shorter beard. Let's check in with King's Landing.
Lady Olenna is displeased to learn of Tywin's plans to wed Sir Loras to Cersei. He thinks she should be grateful for this chance to repair Loras's reputation.
Do you deny them?
No, not at all. A sword swallower through and through.
Oh, he's gay!
Olenna questions if Tywin ever fooled around with another boy as a child. Something he denies, but which she proclaims to be perfectly natural, and throws the rumors of Cersei and Jaime in Tywin's face as unnatural. He finally threatens to add Loras to the King's Guard, taking away his right to marry and inherit. Olenna folds, but is impressed that Tywin lives up to his reputation. Loras and Sansa trade uncomfortable small talk, while elsewhere, Tyrion and Cersei commiserate over their shared impending marital doom. Tyrion finally confronts the Queen Mother about his near murder during the Battle of Blackwater Bay. When she says nothing, he finally realizes it was Joffrey who ordered his death. He's more offended by Joffrey's stupidity and the obviousness of the assassination attempt. Sansa and Shae are discussing her wedding to Loras when Tyrion pays them a visit. Though he tries to have Shae leave so he can talk to her about this later, she stays, and he's forced to tell Sansa that she will be married to him. In the throne room, Varys and Littlefinger discuss the legendary Throne of Swords. They also discuss their enjoyment over thwarting the other's ambitions. Varys is then told that Littlefinger discovered Raz's treachery, and he's disposed of her. We see that Joffrey has murdered Raz with crossbows, and that Sansa is in tears as she watches Littlefinger's ship and her hopes of leaving King's Landing sail away.
The problem with living alone in a cave is there just isn't much to do. You'd be surprised how much time I spend playing one-handed solitaire. On an unrelated note, here's Jaime Lannister.
Jaime and Brienne try to have dinner with Lord Bolton. Bolton plans on returning Jaime to the Lannisters in exchange for forgiveness for the Kingslayer's maiming. However, Roose Bolton won't let Brienne leave. She's a traitor to Robb Stark, and she will be punished.
I'd say that dress she was wearing was punishment enough. Ooh, I'm such a bitch. Let's check in with Bran and his band of renegades.
At their camp, Mira Reed and Asha are snapping at one another as they skin rabbits. Bran sues for peace between the two ladies. They apologize to each other, however begrudgingly, when Jojen starts having a seizure. Mira holds him tightly through his spell, explaining that his visions come at a cost. Coming out of his trance, he tells Bran that he's seen Jon Snow, surrounded by enemies and on the wrong side of the wall.
I see her up climbing. Rock climbing! Oh, damn these trances! Monkey boy Theon, you're up.
Theon is woken by his former savior turned captor. He refuses to give him water, and then begins to threaten to cut off his pinky finger. He tells Theon to try and guess why he's here.
You win the game if you can figure out who I am and why I'm torturing you, and I win the game if you beg me to cut off your finger.
He lets Theon believe that he's Rickard Karstark's son and is torturing him for Robb's sake. But then, he admits to being a liar and stabs Theon's finger until he finally begs to have it cut off.
My God, this episode's just flying by. Normally I have more time between these live-action bits. I can grab a coffee and a Danish or go to the bathroom. Bathroom. Don't think of waterfalls. Okay, Robb Stark, you're up, but for God's sakes, take your time!
Robb and his family meet with two of Lord Frey's sons. They make various demands of Rob, which he agrees to in the hopes of regaining their allegiance, until they demand his uncle Edmure marry Frey's daughter. Edmure's against it, until Rob reminds him that he owes him for an earlier blunder in combat, at which point Edmure agrees.
I don't have to go to the bathroom anymore. What's Arya been up to?
Arya practices her bow fighting when Melisandre and her men march into the Brotherhood's camp. She speaks with Thoros of his failed mission to convert the late King Robert to the Lord of Light, as she did with Stannis. Later, she's shocked that Thoros has managed to resurrect Beric 6 times. It should be beyond him, and he admits to having become an atheist, until the first time he brought Beric back to life, restoring his faith. Later still, Gendry learns that Beric has sold him to Melisandre, as the Lord of Light has commanded.
You're not doing this for your god. You're doing it for gold.
We're doing it for both, Skull.
She tells Gendry that he's meant for greater things than the Brotherhood, and Arya threatens Melisandre.
I see a darkness in you. We will meet again.
I don't understand why you couldn't have moved the Arya segment up so I could have used the bathroom. I'm soaked here. Well, the selling of Gendry is going to reflect very poorly on the Brotherhood. When this exchange program is over and I go back to Night's Watch, that's definitely going to be a black mark on my report. Still, I suppose we should check in on Jon Snow and rock climbing. Rock climbing.
Orell mocks Jon Snow for the dwindling number of crows, or members of the Night's Watch. Then, Jon asks if Ygritte has ever climbed the wall before. She hasn't, but Tormund, the party's leader, has. She tells Jon that he's the best lover she's ever had.
Don't worry. Your secret's safe with me.
What secret?
You didn't stop being a crow the day you walked into Mance Rayder's tent.
She tells him that the generals don't care if they live or die. They must be loyal to one another. They begin their climb, and a falling piece of ice almost knocks Jon loose, but his safety ropes hold. Ygritte sinks her pick into the ice, causing a crack to carry over to a nearby climbing party. They fall to their deaths. Ygritte and Jon fall too, with Orell trying to cut them loose to save himself. They manage to swing to a nearby ice shelf, and Jon gets his pick in it, saving their lives. Exhausted, they arrive at the top of the world just as the sun breaks through the clouds.
It is a nice view. Well, that was the climb, but was it a stairway to heaven or hell? Let's take a closer look at these events.
To be honest, with the exceptions of Arya and Jon, there was some minor plot advancement, but no drama or action. And in Jon and Arya's case, though there was drama and action, ultimately very little happened to advance the plot. Jon Snow started out with a bit of snuggling and then drawing attention to his torn loyalties. He then spends the rest of the episode avoiding falling. But by the end, all that's happened is he's gone from down there to up here. Likewise, Melisandre showing up in Arya's camp was unexpected and provided the best moments in the episode. We explore the nature of the Lord of Light, and finding out that Thoros has defied our expectation was intriguing, and I wish we'd spent more time exploring the somewhat missionary nature of these two priests. Selling Gendry off also provides more venues to use the character, whom, if I'm not mistaken, just disappears from the books at this point. So I'm glad to see that we're not losing this character whom I've grown to enjoy. Still, aside from being disappointed with the Brotherhood and threatening Melisandre, not much happened for Arya. There are a bunch of minor moments that fell flat. I felt we lost something by not seeing the actual, for lack of a better word, proposal between Sansa and Tyrion. Edmure's engagement felt necessary, but as we barely know the character, it also felt empty. Jaime finding out he was to be released was also important, but perhaps should have been held back to the start of the next episode, so it could have been paired with the actual release. Tywin versus Olenna was a well-played scene between two great character actors, but I kind of wish they had something more important to talk about than simply discussing Loras' future. Finally, the death of Raz should have been built up to. I would have loved to have seen a scene where she realizes she's been betrayed by Littlefinger. Just having him talk about it and then see her dead body robbed us of any last-minute drama. On top of that, making Joffrey her killer seemed a waste of the character since this was his only appearance in the episode. It also seemed a bit out of character as, yes, he does enjoy hurting people, but also he usually has someone else do the actual hurting. He's a bit of a coward that way. For him to actually step up and murder someone seemed a bit out of character. Finally, Sam and Bran's moments were wasted and provided nothing. I guess the producers wanted to let us know that Sam and Gilly were okay after the last episode, but all we learned from Bran's segment is that Asha and Mira don't really like each other, something that was hardly news.
So I'm afraid to say that the moments with drama seem to have no plot, and the moments with plot seem to have no drama. I give The Climb 1 kingly bitch slap out of 5. Today's question about life in Westeros comes to us from Angel71090, who asks, you said that your show is run by old gods a while back. What old gods are these, and do you worship any of them, or are you just in a business relationship? Well, there are many gods in Westeros, from the Lords of Light to the demonic White Walkers that the wildlings fear. When I said old gods, I was using it metaphorically, for I don't in fact worship the nameless nature spirits that most Starks do. I worship a very specific set of ancient deities. They used to be White Walkers, but they redeemed themselves, ascended to the heavens, and spend the rest of their days critiquing the world below for the other gods. That's right, I worship the Dug Walkers. If you have a question about life in Westeros, leave it in the comments section below. I'll pick one question to read and answer on next week's show. Until then, I am Lord Stark, and this is Stark Raving!